Chevy's got its legends, the Camaro, the Corvette, but hidden between those icons are some incredible models that most people don't even know existed. In today's video, we're digging up these forgotten treasures, the quirky one-offs, the short-lived flops, and the rare finds that Chevy probably hoped we'd forget. Let's find out what makes these 10 old Chevys the hidden gems that time forgot. The 1954 Chevy. The 1954 Chevy defies description. The more you stare at this 1954 Chevrolet, the more shapeless it appears. It may not be pro street, but it does feature large tires. While it may not be pro touring, it features a 6-speed manual transmission and large brakes. And even though it might not be a traditional practice, there are subtle traditional elements that can be found if you look close enough. Accomplished car builders are commonly seen as legendary figures and are believed to possess extraordinary abilities. However, when we delved into the specifics of the 54 car, one factor stood out. This was not an easy build. However, when you look at the 1954 model, it will always be overshadowed by the more attractive, popular, and powerful Tri-5 V8 models from 55, 56, and 57, which redefined the era. Even though it's often forgotten, the 1949-54 Chevy remains popular in certain hot rodding communities for its use as a street rod, lowrider, or period-correct gasser. This is a vintage Chevy car worthy of being remembered, something we can't say for every car on our list. The 1958 Chevrolet Impala. Even though the auto industry experienced a recession in 1958, the Chevrolet Impala proved to be a major success for General Motors. The 1958 Chevy lineup underwent a complete redesign, presenting a sleeker appearance with a longer, lower, and wider stance, featuring newly introduced quad headlights that were utilized in all new GM models that year. The 1958 Chevy was also given a complete redesign and constructed on a new frame called the safety girder, incorporating X-type design with cross members and a central tube. Even though the fins were eliminated in 58, they were reintroduced in 1959, featuring a larger fin design. In 1958, the Chevrolet Impala was among the most expensive models available from the brand, and according to some automotive historians, the 1958 Chevy stood out in the crowd. 1960 to 1969 Chevy Corvair. Hard financial times are nothing new to Americans, but the 1958 recession was the biggest since World War II. As a result, there was a surge in American demand for smaller cars, leading to increased imports from companies such as Volkswagen and Simca. At Chevy, engineers were hard at work on the Corvair, a small rear-engine vehicle with excellent fuel efficiency, appealing aesthetics, and performance that could compete with European cars of the same type. Ford, Chrysler, and AMC followed suit with their Falcon, Valiant, and Rambler models respectively. However, the initial models showed issues with handling that were later fixed. But that's not important. After Ralph Nader's book Unsafe at Any Speed was released in 1965, Chevy's compact Corvair was nearing its end, as GM discontinued it after the 1969 model year. There's no doubt that the Corvair gained a devoted fan base though, and it shouldn't be overlooked despite its obscurity. 1973 to 1976 Chevy Chevelle SS Laguna S3. The domestic auto industry faced turbulent years in the early 70s, struggling to implement necessary changes quickly. As fuel prices increased and stricter emissions regulations neared, powerful engines were quickly exchanged for low-power, smog-compliant models. The vehicles receiving those engines had already been planned, and the plants had already been equipped. Chevy's latest model of the midsize A-body, referred to as the Colonnade Style A-body by enthusiasts, featured the most advanced chassis and suspension to date. Had the Chevy Chevelle SS and Laguna S3 been equipped with their intended power plants, they would have been the most powerful, highest performing, and potentially best looking Chevy muscle cars yet. But it didn't happen. Making matters worse, the feds demanded the last minute addition of 5-mile-per-hour bumpers, ruining the otherwise graceful shape. 1975 Corvette. The 1975 Corvette was the lowest of the low of American performance with only 165 horsepower, a figure now surpassed by even the most average subcompact cars. How Chevy sold 38,665 of these vehicles is a complete mystery. However, the C3 Corvette possessed an impressive chassis during its era, requiring only a performance boost beneath its sleek and lengthy hood. The appearance of the 1975 Corvette was very similar in physical terms to that of the 1974 model. The main alteration to the car's outer appearance was the addition of front and rear bumper pads. The purpose of adding these pads to the soft front and rear bumpers was to give the Corvette extra protection in situations such as parking lots where the car could come into contact with a curb or another vehicle. Sandwiched between the impressive early C3s from 1968 to 1972 and the innovative C4 from '84, many Corvette enthusiasts overlooked the 1975 model, comparing it to the mediocre midsize A-body from the Malaise era, as both are in need of a more powerful engine. 1975-76 Cosworth Vega. Those who have enough years to remember the Chevy Vega might recall a common phrase used by Vega owners at the full-service gas stations back then: inspect the fuel and replenish the oil. If you couldn't tell from that phrase, early damage to the rings and subsequent oil leakage were just the initial issues facing the basic Vega model. Yet a focused attempt was made to convert the small car into a high-performing vehicle with support from UK-based engineering company Cosworth. The Vega's aluminum block engine, a 16-valve OHC 2.0-liter inline-4 with 110 horsepower, was the initial Chevy to have electronic fuel injection and was hand-built in the clean room in Tonawanda, New York, alongside the renowned 427 CI ZL1 big block. It was a sincere attempt to achieve fuel efficiency with top technology, but the vehicles were costly, with only 3,508 produced over 2 years, cementing its negative image. 1980 to 1985 Chevy Citation. The Chevy Citation from 1980 to 1985 is the one car on the Left Behind list that everyone can universally approve of. In a bid to connect with a financially conservative America, General Motors swapped out its traditional rear-drive X-body compact cars like the Chevy Nova with a lighter front-drive alternative. Despite the spacious interior, the new cars had minimal trunk space, unattractive aesthetics, and significantly weaker engines. Motor Trend named Chevy's transition to smaller, more fuel-efficient cars as bold in the 1980s, awarding it the Car of the Year, but numerous recalls tarnished its reputation, continuing to affect the company. In comparison, the Chevy Malibu and Monte Carlo, both mid-sized G-bodies from Chevy at the time, have emerged as the unexpected favorites among hot rodders of this period. The Chevy Citation is definitely a forgettable car that does belong on this list. 2003 to 2006 Chevy SSR. In 2003, Chevy introduced a daring new car named the SSR, abbreviated for Super Sport Roadster, that displayed all the characteristics of a promising model. The stylish design of the SSR was influenced by Chevy trucks from the 1950s, featuring a retractable hardtop roof, an aluminum 5.3-liter V8 engine, and truck capabilities from its GMT 360 chassis. The only issue was that in 2003, Chevy chose to disappoint their Camaro customers by discontinuing the model and introducing the SSR, a pricier car with lower performance, which loyal fans saw as insensitive. Instead of accepting the SSR, performance buffs saw it as a weak effort to satisfy them. Pontiac faced a similar outcome when its rebranded Holden Monero GTO replaced the discontinued Trans Am and Firebird formula. Was the Super Sport Roadster unforgettable? Even though we'd love to say it wasn't, history has declared that this old Chevy car should be left in the past. 2006 to 2007 Chevy Monte Carlo SS Impala SS. For a span of 2 delightful years, Chevy provided a model of the LS V8 engine in a front-wheel drive setup, with both the Chevy Monte Carlo SS and Impala SS benefiting from this. Constructed on General Motors' mid-size front-wheel drive W platform, both vehicles were included in Chevy's strategy to add performance to all remaining models in their lineup. Once more, this happened in the wake of the Camaro's assassination. The 5.3-liter LS4 V8 engine generated 303 horsepower and had the potential for higher output, but its front-wheel drive setup restricted safe modifications within warranty constraints. Chevy's attempt at affordable V8 front-wheel drive performance was their most successful yet, and we believe these cars deserve more recognition and should be celebrated. 2011-2017 Chevy Caprice PPV. A car built in 2011 surely won't sound that old to you, but in the rapid advancement of car technology, a car manufactured in 2011 like the Chevy Caprice PPV would be considered outdated today. However, hot rodders will perceive this as just one of the numerous benefits of the PPV. In an unusual decision, Chevy decided to bring the Zeta-based Holden Commodore sedan to the US specifically for law enforcement, renaming it as the Caprice PPV. Due to the factory's limited output capacity and the presence of a vigilant UAW in the United States, only a small number of PPVs were imported and none of them were available for purchase by civilians. Having been discontinued for 6 years, the 335 horsepower 6.0-liter LS V8 powered sedan makes great fodder for a daily hot rod. Despite its dull and unremarkable sedan look, it is an excellent vehicle for holding on to resentments and can still be purchased at auctions for a low price. The Caprice PPV is long forgotten today, and keen hot rodders will have fun taking advantage of it. 2014-2017 Chevrolet SS. If you mention the Chevy SS to someone who is not familiar with the brand, they'll likely come back with Chevy SS what? Like you forgot to tack on the word Chevelle, Impala, or Camaro to the end of it. Similar to the Caprice PPV that came out before it, the Chevrolet SS was built on the Holden Zeta platform, and like the PPV, it had the plainest appearance of any modern Chevy. The SS's main features included the powerful 415 horsepower 6.2-liter LS V8 engine, paired with either the durable 6-speed Tremec TR6060 or 6L80E automatic transmission, along with standard Brembo disc brakes and GM's high-quality magnetic ride suspension. Similar to the PPV, its looks are forgettable. They're way apart when it comes to prices though. Considering how the prices of used models remain close to their original MSRP, this makes it a less appealing option for a daily hot rod compared to the more common Caprice PPV. It's time to hit the brakes because we've come to the end of today's journey through Chevy's hidden gems. Which of these cars caught your eye? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more classic car stories, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you next time.